From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the Business, Equity, and Opportunities Podcast with Scott Sander.
Welcome to the Business, Equity, and Opportunities Podcast. I'm Scott Sander. On this episode,
we talk diversity with the IU School of Medicine. We visit a company that provides staffing with a purpose. Our industry focus, technical education for communities, and the role of Cummins. Welcome back to Business, Equity, and Opportunities. And this week in business, the IU School of Medicine is the largest medical school in the country. Its leaders pledge to make sure its staff reflect the communities the school serves. To that end, the school just made an important appointment.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. This Week in Business.
Dr. Shimon Neal is the new Executive Associate Dean for Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Justice, and the Chief Diversity Officer for IU School of Medicine. It's a lot to fit on a business card, and she's up to the task.
First and foremost, I'm a mom and a wife. I have 6 children, and they range in ages from 14 to 29. And I'm also a wife. My husband's name is Vincent, and I'm a native of San Diego, so I'm from California, but I've been in Indiana for quite a while. I've been here since 2006. So I've had a little bit of time to be here. I am an outdoor person. I really love the outdoors. I love swimming. Growing up in California, spent a lot of time in the ocean, so I've been able to kind of connect to my California roots by doing triathlon. So I like to try to be a triathlete. When I was younger, I originally wanted to be a veterinarian, and then I had an experience in high school where I kind of volunteered or did a work study in a veterinary clinic, and I did not like it at all. And so I thought, maybe I will, take this love for science and medicine to people. And definitely in people, I found, the thing that I was looking for. I went to medical school in Chicago. I went to the University of Chicago, Pritzker School of Medicine. And then I went back out to California and needed to come back to the Midwest. So I completed my residency here in OBGYN. And I went out and practiced in the private community for a little while. I worked at Community North. And then I've always really been drawn to academic medicine. I really enjoy teaching. I think the best job you can have is to be on a college campus. And so I've always been drawn to the college community. And I've always seen myself as being part of an academic environment. And so that's what really brought me back here. So the position that I will start on the 1st of February is to be the first Executive Associate Dean for Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Justice, and the Chief Diversity Officer. This is a new pillar for the school. Diversity, equity, inclusion has always been a part of pretty much everything that we do at the School of Medicine. And now the work that we've done has just grown so much. We are the largest medical school in the country. We have 9 campuses. And as you can imagine, as we've, expanded our work in the space of DEIJ, there needs to be an executive presence to help align all of those efforts. So for us, it's about aligning the great work that we're already doing and thinking about the future and our strategy for the future to continue to grow that work and to really be leaders in this space. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is really important for businesses because we have a lot of complicated questions to learn. We're really making big strides and changes in technology, and we need to leverage the perspective of a lot of different people to solve our biggest problems. Healthcare is not immune to that. We have some very large challenges in healthcare, and we need to be able to leverage all the talent that we have and not just small portions of our talent. Another really important thing for businesses in particular is that there has been a lot of work over the past several years that has shown that businesses that leverage DEIJ are more competitive. they're more stable financially, they have better longevity, and they're more able to compete in the global marketplace. And so for a business to be relevant and to thrive now, they have to have a diverse workforce. You just can't compete without that. Our engagement with our community is incredibly important. They really help us to understand what is important to the community, what is relevant, what are the biggest issues in our community. As a healthcare or a school that teaches people in the healthcare industry, the people in the community are our priority. They're our biggest stakeholder, and it's really important that we are able to meet the needs of the community. There's a lot of work that shows that healthcare organizations that have clinicians that reflect the populations that they serve have better outcomes. And so we're responsible and beholden to the patients and the people in all of our communities in Indiana. My spark is the potential of other people. I think every human has the right to get the tools they need to reach their full potential. And in this role, I think that I will be able to really live into that by helping our students, our trainees, and our faculty and researchers and scientists and all these people that are really striving to live into their full potential so that they can solve these big problems in our communities. And I want to be a part of that. That excites me to no end. That is what I'm here for. And so I'm incredibly excited to be able to leverage that passion in the role that I'll be in.
When it comes to running your business day to day, as you assemble the right team of employees, it may pay to consider turning to the professionals.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities, running your business day to day.
Zeph Morales is the CEO of the Morales Group, a mission-focused staffing and talent sourcing agency. The group believes that people strategy should be transformational, not transactional.
Yeah, so Staffing 101 is we're basically a middle person in between the company and the talent. And so we serve as a bridge between companies looking for staff to ramp up employment. And we're also kind of a in-between talent provider to those looking for a job, so we can help them find work. So we are kind of in the middle between the employee and the employer, and we serve as a bridge to help kind of connect the two. There's a lot of challenges right now, but I'd say in particular just finding talent. There's been this great resignation. There's been a disruption with COVID. And so trying to find talent, there's been a lot of baby boomers who exited the workforce. You had a lot of people just try to reconfigure what life's going to look like for them post-pandemic. And so trying to find talent, trying to retain talent, it's just been a huge challenge for employers trying to access the right type of talent for their company. And so we serve as kind of that bridge in between. But the war for talent, or the challenge that's going on right now, it's significant in the market. It's one thing to get them, but to keep them and hold on to them for a long time in an age where you have a lot of free agents and you can move around, and the market was looking for talent. You've got to be more competitive in trying to retain and engage. So some of my advice would be create pathways for different opportunities for people to develop. So your development and retention plans need to be in place. And you just need to be really strategic about how you attract and then retain some of the newer talent today. They're looking for different options. They want flexibility, to maybe work from home, or they want kind of a hybrid work-life balance. So it's very different. You have to be adaptive. You have to be accommodative. But it's a good challenge for employers right now trying to retain talent. We have the Passport program. It's a way to personally develop. We're a globally diverse company, and so you get this actual physical passport, not the actual passport in hand, but you get to get these stamps and you develop yourself professionally, and you also get stamps for serving in the community. And again, that's another way where we've kind of gamified the aspect of development and retention. And so we do that with our employees. But then once we've had enough stamps and we've done the right work from a development standpoint, We go back to Mexico to build homes and do a lot of work here in the community with some of our outreach and community efforts. So that passport program is wonderful, and it's a great way to get people to buy into how do I get better, how do I serve the community, and how do I, use this business as a cause to really do better. So we have your traditional temporary staffing offering, and that is the 2,000 or 3,000 employees that we staff throughout central Indiana. But then we have a division called Axiom Performance, and we actually will go into somebody's facility and actually take over a work cell or some sort of operation. And so it's more of an outsourced supply chain program that we offer a lot of these companies, and it's very innovative. It's not your traditional, hey, I need a temp for an hourly rate. It's, hey, I'll come in and help not only run your program, but manage and help find ways to save you costs. So it's an innovative solution from our standpoint. When you're starting up, a lot of times you don't understand your forecast or what's around the corner, and so we like the option that we offer with kind of having this flexible contingent labor, because you can add staff or you can retract staff as you kind of feel out what's ahead with your business, especially as you're starting, because you don't want to add 10 or 15 new teammates and then have to reduce those staff, if you were wrong on your projections. And so staffing and temporary staffing and what we offer gives flexibility to kind of ebb and flow with how your business contracts. Maybe you have a seasonal business, maybe there's some sort of ramp up in the economy and you need to hire more headcount and you don't have the HR staff to do that. That's where I think we come in and help new businesses when they're trying to figure out their optimal headcount. I think the future's bright. I think you see a lot of the U.S. trailing Europe with some of their workforce practices. I think with more regulation in Europe, we'll see some of that, I think, in the U.S. as we get further into the future. More and more companies, I believe, will adapt and adopt to a flexible contract of flexible temp staffing. Right now, the temp penetration rate for the U.S. workforce is about 6%. We see that growing more over the years to come. So I think companies are going to be more agile, they're going to need more maneuverability, and they're going to lean on agencies like us to kind of ebb and flow with just the volatility and the uncertainty, especially like when you go through a pandemic and you have a quarter or two where the lights turn off or your business explodes because you're in recreational products or you're some tech company and you need talent to ramp up.
Welcome again to Business Equity and Opportunity. Time for our industry focus. Cummins is certainly a powerful name in industry in Indiana. The company's now on a quest to narrow the state's skills gap, a quest that led to a partnership with other local businesses and a local high school.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities. Industry Focus.
Frank Griffin is the Corporate Responsibility Program Director at Cummins. He leads the company's global community initiatives.
There's a lot of exciting things happening with Cummins right now. We just celebrated 100 years a couple years ago. And we're headquartered in Columbus, Indiana, a little south of Indianapolis. We just announced the first woman CEO, Jennifer Rumsey of Cummins. So Cummins is a large company that designs and manufactures diesel and alternative fuel engines, generators, and associated components with that. The Cummins has always been very active in the communities. It's just part of our DNA, our culture, from the very beginning. What's happening recently, as exciting as our tech program, technical education for communities. We just launched our first tech site in Indiana at Arsenal Tech High School. So we're excited about that. What we have done is typically we try to identify skill gaps in regions globally, and we identify communities that we want to target. And what tech does is provides a school-based, industry-supported, vocational skills training for people to be able to give them good jobs. What we realized, we started this in 2012 And we realized that, our leaders realized that there was a significant gap in the availability of skilled labor. And because of that, it was significantly affecting our communities. Not only was there a gap, but it was affecting the communities where we live and work. So we decided to launch this CARE initiative that provides vocational training to people where there are skills gaps. And that's what we're doing here with Arsenal Tech in Indiana. We have several partners, we have, and I have a list here, but we have Allison Transmission, we have Indigo, we have Ivy Tech, we have 6 other partners, local partners, that has decided to provide resources for students as well as possible job opportunities for tech graduates, which is very important. In many manufacturing areas across the country, there is a lack of skilled trade in the field, manufacturing also, and because of this, it greatly affects large business, small business alike. It affects the communities because of unemployment, underemployment, right? So we think by launching tech, we'll be able to not only provide skilled trade, but help the workforce development in those communities, help the small businesses, as well as help the larger businesses who need those technical competencies. I think people leave for a lot of reasons. One of the most important reasons is because they are underemployed or unemployed. So people could have families. People might not want to leave their families, but they have to take care of themselves and their immediate families. So they end up leaving those communities because of that, looking for, the proper employment. So whenever you can develop communities, underserved communities, that allows people to stay closer to home, closer to their families. So it's a win-win for everyone. To develop those underserved communities, to revitalize them, if you will. So tech wants to be a part of that. This is a global program. We have 26 sites over 12 countries. And we're in Brazil, and Nigeria, and Australia, and Chile. We have 5 sites in the U.S. 4 of those 5 sites are specifically connected to what we call our CARE initiative. And our CARE stands for Cummins Advocating Racial Equity, focusing on black equity in the U.S. So 4 of these sites are focusing on trying to find jobs for black students in the communities that they live in. Right? So we can see this growing not only for black equity, but for wherever there is a skills gap or workforce development issue in those communities globally. So we want to continue to expand it. We're at 26 sites now. We want to continue to grow it globally as much as possible and expand it here in the U.S. as much as possible. This is the best job I've ever had. And I've been, I've worked over 35 years in a lot of different roles, sales and marketing mostly. I'm an engineer by degree. But this job is just so meaningful, it's so impactful. You're looking at sustainable change that affects lives. So you're much closer to how it affects those lives, and it just gives you, like you said, a warm feeling that you can be involved with that. Absolutely.
Our thanks again to all the contributors who joined us for this episode of the Business Equity and Opportunities podcast. We hope you found it enlightening, useful, and inspiring. You'll find more information about the show on our website, BEOshow.com. You can watch Business Equity and Opportunities Sunday mornings at 10 on Wish TV or live stream it through wishtv.com. Each week we provide 7 full segments with topics ranging from how to get started and how to access capital to the day-to-day running of your business and questions about accounting and bookkeeping. We feature business news and trends and always share a success story from one of our contributors. Join us next time for more insights into the world of small business. Be sure to sign up for our Business Equity and Opportunities newsletter to get even more valuable, up-to-date information. And if you have any questions or you'd like to be part of our show, please email us. The address is beo@wishtv.com. We'd love to hear from you. I'm Scott Sander. Thanks for listening.
Watch the Business Equity and Opportunities show on Wish TV and access all of our content and share it on demand anytime at BEOshow.com. You can find more podcasts from Wish TV on the All Indiana Podcast Network at allindianapodcastnetwork.com. Every business is unique and has a target audience. If you own or manage a business, Circulus Digital Media can help you connect and grow your customer base with turnkey digital solutions that are nimble, offering best-in-class results, service, and support to reach a bigger customer base, allowing you to pinpoint a specific audience down to the smallest details. Get outside the city, the state, span the globe. Put Circulus Digital Media to work for you. Get started now at circulusdigital.com. That's circulusdigital.com.